Welcome, dear listeners, to another enchanting journey into the realm of dreams and serenity. As the twilight deepens and the stars begin to sprinkle their gentle light across the night sky, I invite you to join me in a world where magic breeze and beauty knows no bounds. At night, near the soft glow of the moon, we will wander together into the heart of an enchanted meadow, a place where time slows and the air itself sings with the melody of peace. Here, amidst flowers that bloom in an everlasting spring, and the tender caress of a breeze that whispers secrets of old, we are about to meet a creature of unparalleled grace, a gazelle known far and wide not just for her elegance and speed, but for the wisdom that dances. This is a tale of harmony, of learning to move with the lightness of the wind and the joy of a heart unburdened. So, my dear friends, as you settle into the comfort of your bed, let the worries of the day drift away. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing each breath to carry you closer to that tranquil meadow. Let my voice be the guide that leads you through the veil of sleep, into a dreamland where the Gazelle embrace promises a journey of beauty and gentle discovery. Prepare to be whisked away to a place where every creature gathers in eager anticipation, under the watchful eye of an ancient oak, to hear tales of distant lands and lessons learned from the dance of the wind itself. Let this story be a warm embrace, a soothing lullaby that lulls you into a restful slumber, bottled in the arms of peace and serenity. Welcome to the story of the Gazelle's grace. Good night, listeners, and may your dreams be as sweet and as inspiring as the tales we share tonight. Chapter 1. The Enchanted Meadow. In the heart of an enchanted meadow, where flowers bloom in everlasting spring, and the air is filled with the sweet melody of bird song, the animals gathered in eager anticipation. Word had spread like wildfire that a visitor of unparalleled grace and beauty was to grace their meadow. A gazelle, known far and wide for her elegance and speed, as well as the wisdom she carried in her heart. The sun hung low in the sky, casting golden hues over the lush landscape. When she appeared at the edge of the meadow, her coat shimmered like the finest silk, and her eyes sparkled with the wisdom of the ages. The animals fell into a hushed silence, their eyes wide with wonder as the gazelle stepped lightly across the meadow, her every movement a testament to the tales of grace they had heard. "Welcome, noble gazelle," greeted the eldest of the deer, stepping forward with a bow. "Their arrival brings joy to our hearts and beauty to our eyes. We have long awaited the stories and the lessons you carry." The gazelle bowed her head in return, her voice as melodic as the wind through the leaves. "Thank you, kind friends. It is my honor to share with you the tales of distant lands and the lessons of elegance and speed I have learned in my travels. Let us gather beneath the ancient oak, where the moonlight dances with the shadows, and I shall tell you my first tale." And so, the animals of the meadow congregated beneath the sprawling branches of the ancient oak, the air thick with anticipation. The gazelle began to speak, her voice weaving a spell over her audience as she transported them to a world where the beauty of movement reigned supreme. Under the moon's gentle glow and the ancient oak's watchful eye, the gazelle began her tale, her voice as captivating as the stars themselves. "In a land far from here, where the dunes rise high and the sky stretches wide, there lived a breeze that danced across the sands with such grace it could weave tapestries in the air," she started, her eyes twinkling with the movement of her stingray. The animals of that land spoke of the breeze with reverence, for it moved with a lightness and speed unmatched by any creature. Curious and eager to learn, I approached the edge of the desert, my heart set on dancing with the wind. As the gazelle spoke, the animals of the meadow leaned in closer, hanging on her every word. The breeze greeted me like an old friend, inviting me to join its dance. And so we danced together, the wind and I, twirling and leaping across the dunes. With each step, I felt lighter, my movements more fluid, as if I were part of the wind itself. The gazelle paused, her gaze sweeping over her rapt audience. This dance taught me the beauty of moving on beneath the world around us, of embracing the lightness in our steps that allows us to glide rather than trample, to be part of the music of the universe. The meadow was silent for a moment, the animals lost in the imagery of the Gazelle's tale. Then, one by one, they began to whisper among themselves, their hearts alight with the desire to experience such grace. As dawn broke, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold, the meadow's inhabitants gathered once more around the gazelle. Their hearts were filled with an eagerness to learn to embody the lightness and grace of which she had spoken. The gazelle looked upon them with a gentle smile, her eyes reflecting the first light of day. Lightness, she began. Her voice, as soft as the morning breeze, is not merely the absence of weight. It is the presence of harmony, the balance between movement and the air through which we move. Today, I shall teach you how to dance with the wind, just as I once did. The animals watched in awe as the gazelle demonstrated her movements, a mesmerizing blend of strength and delicacy. She moved as if the air itself lifted her, each step, each leap, an embodiment of the tales she had shared. Begin with the simplest of steps, the gazelle instructed, encouraging her audience to join her. Feel the earth beneath your paws, hooves, and feet, but do not seek to conquer it. Instead, move as if you are a part of it, as if each step is a whisper to the world. Under her guidance, the animals began to move, each in their own way, yet each striving for the lightness the gazelle embodied. The deer found grace in their bounds, the rabbits discovered swiftness without haste, and even the birds, who watched from above, found a new softness in their flight. As you move, the gazelle continued, imagine that you are part of the wind itself. It does not force its way through the world, and it flows, it dances, embraces. Be like the wind. The lesson stretched on, and with each passing moment, the meadow transformed into a ballet of creatures moving with a newfound elegance. The lesson of lightness was not just learned, it was felt, a revelation that changed not just how they moved, but how they saw themselves in the tapestry of the world. In the heart of the meadow, under the watchful gaze of the ancient oak, ear buzzed with anticipation. The lesson of lightness had left a profound impact on the meadow's inhabitants, but it was the young rabbits who felt a spark of playful challenge ignite within them. Eager to test their newfound grace, they approached the gazelle with a proposition. Great Gazelle, pipe up the boldest among them. A young rabbit with eyes as bright as the dawn. We are inspired by your teachings and wish to put our lessons to the test. Would you honor us with a race, not for pride or victory, but to celebrate the joy of movement and the grace you shared with us? The gazelle regarded them with a gentle smile, her heart warmed by their spirited enthusiasm. I'm delighted by your request, she replied, her voice carrying the melody of kindness. Let this race pass, a celebration of the beauty we discovered together. Let us run not against each other, but with each other. And so the stage was set. The animals of the meadow lined the course, their cheers filling the air with vibrant energy. The rabbits took their positions, their bodies poised with a lightness they had never known before. The gazelle stood beside them, the embodiment of the grace she had taught. At the signal of the old owl, whose wisdom had seen many seasons, the race began. The gazelle and the rabbits leapt forward, their movements a symphony of speed and elegance. The meadow blurred past them, a tapestry of green and gold as they moved with a harmony that spoke of the lessons learned under the gazelle's gentle guidance. The rabbits, their hearts alight with joy, discovered a new way of moving. Each leap, each bound was infused with the lightness and grace of the Gazelle's teachings. They moved not as contenders in a race, but as dancers in the world's grandest ballet. As they crossed the finish line, a chorus of applause rose from the meadow's inhabitants. The race had not revealed a victor, for the lesson was in the journey, not the destination. The gazelle gathered the rabbits around her, pride shining in her eyes. "Today," she said, addressing not only the rabbits, but all who had gathered, "you have shown that grace is not the privilege of the few, but the gift of all who seek it. You have raced with the wind and danced with the earth, and in doing so, you have discovered the elegance within yourselves." As the sun dipped low, bathing the meadow in hues of amber and gold, the animals gathered once more around the gazelle. The race had been a celebration, a manifestation of the lessons in grace and lightness they had learned. Now, as the day drew a close, they sought the final pearls of wisdom the gazelle had to offer. The gazelle stood before them, her presence as serene as the twilight. Today she began, her voice echoing the tranquility of the evening. "You have all discovered the dance within you. Behind grace is not just a movement but a way of being, a harmony between the heart and the world around us." She moved amongst them, her steps a silent song. Grace is the lightness with which you greet the dawn, the gentleness of your touch upon the earth, and the whisper of your passage through the night. It is found not in striving for perfection, but in embracing the beauty of your natural rhythm. The animals listened, captivated by her words. The gazelle's gaze held a depth of kindness, a recognition of the journey each had undertaken. "To live with grace," she continued, "is to move through life with gratitude and compassion. It is to navigate the storms with the same elegance with which you bask in the sunlight, knowing that each step, whether in shadow or in light, is part of the dance of existence." Her advice flowed like a gentle stream, touching the hearts of all who heard it. "Remember," she said, her eyes reflecting the first stars of the evening, "that grace is not a gift bestowed upon a fortunate few, but a light that resides within each of you. Nurture this light. Let it guide your steps, illuminate your path, and lead you through the dance of life with joy and elegance." As the night settled in, a hush fell over the meadow. The animals, from the smallest mouse to the tallest deer, felt a profound sense of peace and understanding. The gazelle's words were not merely advice, but a blessing, a beacon to guide them through the days to come. The gazelle looked out over the meadow, her heart full. "My journey continues, as does yours," she said, her voice a soft murmur against the velvet night. "Carry these lessons within you, and let the beauty of your movement be a testament to the grace that dwells in your spirit." With that, the gazelle turned, her silhouette a graceful shadow against the moonlit meadow. She moved with a lightness that seemed to defy the very earth, leaving behind a legacy of grace and beauty that would ripple through the meadow for generations to come. As the animals dispersed, returning to their corners of the enchanted meadow, each carried with them the lessons of the gazelle. The meadow, once a place of simple existence, had been transformed into a realm where every creature moved with a newfound elegance, a dance of life that celebrated the grace in every heart. Chapter 2. A Forest of Shadows. As the first light of dawn pierced the horizon, the gazelle ventured beyond the meadow's boundary, her heart guided by the thirst for new horizons and the desire to share her wisdom further. Her path led her to the edge of the Forest of Shadows, a place whispered about in the meadow for its ancient magic and the mysteries it held. The forest was a tapestry of twilight, where sunlight seldom touched the ground, and the air hummed with the secrets of old. Venturing into the forest's embrace, the gazelle's steps were silent upon the mist-covered earth, her grace undiminished by the change of scenery. The trees stood tall and ancient, their branches intertwined in a perpetual dance of shadow and light. It wasn't long before she sensed she was not alone. A soft hooting filled the air, rhythmic and wise, leading her deeper into the heart of the forest. There, in a clearing lit by the gentle glow of fireflies, was an assembly of owls, their eyes green with intelligence and an age-old wisdom, reflecting the myriad secrets it had seen unfold beneath the canopy of the Forest of Shadows. The largest of them, an owl with feathers that shimmered silver under the moonlight, regarded the gazelle with a curious gaze. "Welcome, traveler of the meadows," the owl intoned, its voice deep and resonant. "Word of your wisdom and grace has reached even the depths of our forest. We, the guardians of the night, were curious about the stories you carry and the lessons that follow in your wake." The gazelle bowed her head in respect, her heart warmed by their welcome. "I am honored to stand before such esteemed guardians. The stories I bring are gifts shared freely among those who seek to learn. In the dance of the wind, the leap over moonlight, and the race with the storm, there are lessons of grace, agility, and endurance." The owls listened intently, their silent presence a testament to their interest. The assembly was a council of sorts, comprised of owls from every corner of the forest, each a keeper of knowledge and a guide to those who wandered the shadows. Your tales speak of a world beyond our branches, of lessons that could enrich the tapestry of our wisdom. The silver-feathered owl responded. They would hear these stories, gaze upon these lessons through your eyes, and perhaps share a few secrets of our own. And so, beneath the ancient canopy, surrounded by the watchful eyes of the forest's guardians, the gazelle began to share her tales. Each story was a thread, weaving connections between the meadow's light and the forest's shadow, bridging worlds with the universal language of grace and movement. The owls, for their part, listened with a deep reverence. Their hoots and whispers filled the spaces. Between words, a chorus of the night that accompanied the gazelle's voice. In the exchange of wisdom, a bond was formed, a recognition of the shared threads that connect all beings, regardless of the realms they inhabit. As the gazelle spoke, the forest itself seemed to listen, the very air charged with the magic of her tales. The encounter with the owls, these wise guardians of the forest of shadows, marked the beginning of a new chapter in the journey. A chapter that promised to delve deeper into the mysteries of mind and the art of evasion, and the beauty that lies in the dance between light and shadow. But the stories shared and the lessons poised to unfold, the gazelle and the owls stood at the threshold of understanding, ready to explore the depths of grace that lay hidden in the heart of the forest. The encounter, a meeting of minds and spirits, set the stage for the lessons and challenges that awaited, promising a journey that would illuminate the darkest corners of the forest with the light of wisdom and grace. In the heart of the forest of shadows, under the watchful eyes of the wise assembly of owls, the gazelle began her second tale. The fireflies danced around them, casting the clearing in a soft, ethereal light, setting the stage for a story of moonlit magic and agile grace. There was a night. The gazelle started, her voice weaving the tapestry of her tale, when the moon full and bright in the sky, casting beams of silver light through the thicket of an enchanted forest, much like this one. It was said that on such nights, the moonlight held the power to transform, to reveal truths hidden in the shadows. The owls leaned in, her eyes glinting with curiosity, in the reflection of the firefly's light. I found myself in this forest, drawn by the allure of the moon's promise. But with the light came shadows, deep and dark, where the unknown lurked. To navigate the forest, to reach a clearing where the moon's power was strongest, I had to leap over these beams of moonlight, avoiding the shadows with agility and precision. The gazelle paused, her audience captivated, hanging on her every word. Each leap was a challenge, a test of my understanding of the space around me, of the balance between light and shadow. The forest became a maze, a dance floor where each step, each leap was guided by intuition and the desire to embrace the moon's blessing. The owls, guardians of the night, understood the depth of the gazelle's journey. They, who flew silently through the night, navigating the fine line between light and shadow, saw in her tale a reflection of their own existence. The lesson of that night, the gazelle continued, was one of precision and evasion. To move with grace is not only to embrace the light, but to understand the darkness, to navigate the spaces in between with confidence and finesse. Each leap over the moonlight was a moment of trust, a surrender to the dance that exists between the seen and the unseen. The firefly's light seemed to place in rhythm with her words, casting the clearing and glow that mimicked the moonlit night of her tale. In the end, she concluded, I reached the clearing, bathed in the moon's full glory. The journey through the forest, the dance of evasion and precision, taught me that grace is not just found in the light, but in how we move through the shadows. It is a balance, a harmony between all parts of ourselves and the world around us. The assembly of owls, moved by the Gazelle's tale, hooted softly, a chorus of respect and contemplation. The Gazelle's story of the leap over moonlight resonated with them, a testament to the art of evasion, the value of precision, and the beauty of navigating the complexities of existence with grace. As the tale came to a close, the clearing was filled with a sense of unity, a shared understanding between the Gazelle and the guardians of the night. Her journey, her dance of light and shadow, had woven a bond between them, a recognition of the lessons that lay hidden in the heart of the forest, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to venture into the shadows with grace and agility. Inspired by Adesine's tale of moonlit leaps and the dance between light and shadow, the assembly of owls, along with a curious gathering of forest animals who had been drawn by the tales and the wisdom shared, expressed a desire to murder. They sought the Gazelle guidance on how to embody agility in their movements, to navigate their own shadows and light with grace and precision. The Gazelle, honored by their request, stood ready in the clearing, her posture the embodiment of poised readiness, agility. She began, her voice carrying the essence of the lesson to come, is the art of moving swiftly yet attentively, of being able to change direction with grace without losing balance. It is about being present in each moment, fully aware of your surroundings and responding with both speed and consideration. The fireflies, as if sensing the importance of the moment, had illuminated the clearing with a gentle glow, casting soft shadows that dance in harmony with the Gazelle's words. To be agile, the Gazelle continued, you must first understand your own strength and limitations. Know the ground upon which you stand, the air through which you move, and the space that surrounds you. Agility is not just physical, it is also a state of mind. With that, the Gazelle demonstrated. She moved through the trees with a fluidity that mesmerized her audience. Each step, each leap, was a testament to her mastery of agility. She wove between the trunks, her movements a blend of speed and precision, leaving the onlookers in awe. She moved not against the forest, but as a part of it, her awareness of every branch, every root, allowing her to flow through the obstacles with ease. The owls, perched high above, watched closely, their keen eyes following the Gazelle's every move. The forest animals, each different in their own nature, saw in a demonstration or reflection of what they could aspire to achieve. The Gazelle's agility was not about surpassing others in speed or skill, but about moving with intention, with an understanding of one's own capabilities and environment. After a demonstration, the Gazelle gathered the animals around her. Agility, she shared, begins with awareness. It is about knowing when to move and when to be still, when to leap and when to tread carefully. It is a balance, achieved not through haste, but through mindfulness and practice. She encouraged them to explore their own movements, to practice weaving through the trees, not as a challenge to be overcome, but as a dance to be enjoyed. Let the forest be your teacher, she advised. Learn its ways, and let it guide you towards finding your own path of agility. As the lesson came to a close, the clearing was filled with a sense of quiet determination. The owls took to the skies, their flight silent and swift, a display of their own form of agility. The forest animals, from the smallest squirrel to the nimblest deer, began to explore the spaces between the trees, their movements inspired by the Gazelle, teachings. The lesson of agility, shared into the watchful eyes of the forest guardians and the gentle glow of the fireflies, became a turning point for many. It was a lesson not just in physical movement, but in how to navigate the complexities of life with grace, awareness, and an agile heart. The forest of shadows, once a place of mystery and caution, transformed in their eyes into a realm of endless possibilities, a place where agility and grace opened the path to understandings and found confidence in the tapestry of life. As the lesson of agility resonated through the forest of shadows, a band of foxes, their coats as red as the setting sun and eyes alight with curiosity, watched from the underbrush. They had been drawn by the tales of the gazelle and her demonstration of grace and agility. Intrigued and playful by nature, they devised a challenge, a game of wits and speed, to see if they could outmaneuver the renowned gazelle. Emerging from the shadows with light steps and mischievous grins, the leader of the foxes, known for his cunning and quickness, approached the gazelle. "Noble gazelle," he began, his voice laced with a playful challenge. "Your lessons of agility and grace have inspired us. We wish to learn from you, not just through words, but through the thrill of the chase. Would you honor us with a game, a friendly test of evasion and strategy?" The gazelle, understanding the nature of the foxes and seeing an opportunity for a deeper lesson, accepted their challenge with a nod. "I am honored by your request," she replied, her gaze meeting theirs with a spark of playfulness. "Let this game be a dance between light and shadow, a testament to the art of evasion." And so, as the moon began its ascent, casting silver beams through the canopy, the forest became the stage for a chase like no other. The gazelle and the foxes moved through the trees, a flurry of movement that blurred the line between predator and companion. The gazelle, with her unmatched agility, made it and weaved her movements in melody that the foxes sought to match. The foxes, with their own natural cunning, attempted to anticipate the gazelle's moves, to outsmart her with feints and poise. Yet with each turn, each clever strategy they employed, the gazelle demonstrated that evasion was not merely about speed or escaping. It was about understanding one's opponent, about predicting their moves and countering wisdom. As the chase unfolded, the gazelle led the foxes through the forest, her steps always one beat ahead. She moved not in fear but with intention, guiding the chase to a clearing bathed in moonlight. There she came to a graceful halt, the foxes encircling her, their breaths coming in quick, excited pants. "Your chase was spirited," the gazelle addressed the foxes, her voice calm and filled with respect for their efforts. "But remember, evasion is not just about the physical act of escaping. It's about the mental dance. You're thinking your opponent, of being always one step ahead, not just in space, but in thought." The foxes, their chests heaving and tails flicking with energy, listened intently. The game had been exhilarating, a test of their agility and cunning. But the gazelle's final lesson illuminated the true nature of their challenge. It was a lesson not in how to catch or to flee, but in how to engage with the world with a combination of physical grace and mental agility. In our dance tonight, the gazelle continued, her eyes reflecting the moon's glow. "You have learned that true evasion is a balance of knowing when to move and when to be still, when and when to follow. It is a harmony of body and mind, a skill that will serve you well in the dance of life." The foxes, humbled yet enlightened by the experience, awed their heads in respect. The playful challenge had transformed into a profound lesson, one that they would carry with them through the twists and turns of the forest and beyond. As the night deepened and the forest returned to its serene quiet, the gazelle, then the foxes parted ways, each enriched by the encounter. The predicament with the foxes became a cherished memory, a night when the thrill of the chase gave way to the discovery of deeper wisdom, where evasion became an art form, practiced not just in the physical realm, but in the vast, untapped space of the demosis. After the playful yet enlightening encounter with the foxes, the gazelle gathered the forest's inhabitants once more. The moon now high in the sky, bathing the forest of shadows in a serene, silver light that seemed to hush the world in anticipation of the wisdom she was about to share. 8 animals, from the smallest mouse to the wise assembly of owls, settled around her, their eyes reflecting the glow of the moon, eager to absorb the lessons the gazelle had gleaned from the day's adventures. The art of evasion. The gazelle began, her voice echoing softly through the clearing, is much more than a mere physical act. It is a dance of awareness, a symphony of mind and movement harmonized into the essence of grace. She paused, allowing her words to settle in the hearts of her audience, each creature hanging onto her every word. Evasion, she continued, begins with awareness. To evade is to be profoundly in tune with your surroundings, to sense the intentions of others before they even make them move. It is to anticipate, to foresee, and thus to flow around obstacles like water around rocks. The gazelle's eyes shone with the depth of her understanding, her gaze sweeping across her captivated audience. She recounted the chase with the foxes, not as a tale of pursuit, but as a lesson in understanding and anticipation. The foxes, with their cunning and agility, presented a challenge, a puzzle to be solved not with speed alone, but with insight. To outmaneuver an opponent, one must understand and predict their path, and then choose our own with wisdom and foresight. The forest animals listened intently, absorbing the deeper meaning of her words. The gazelle emphasized that evasion was not about fleeing from life's challenges, but about approaching them with a strategic mind and a graceful step. It is about choosing our battles, knowing when to stand firm and when to step aside, allowing the momentum of others to pass by without disturbing our own balance. To master the art of evasion, she elaborated, one must also master the art of stillness. In stillness, we find the clarity to observe, to plan our next move. It is in these moments of pause that we gather our strength, that we align our intentions with our actions. The gazelle demonstrated, moving with deliberate slowness, a contrast to the swift agility she had shown before. Her movements were measured, mindful, each step a testament to the power of anticipation and the strength found in strategic retreat. As the lesson came to a close, the gazelle looked around at the faces of the forest inhabitants, each reflecting a newfound understanding. Remember, she said, her voice a gentle reminder of the day's lessons. Evasion is an art, a balance between knowing and moving, between seeing and being unseen. Cultivate awareness, anticipate the movements of the world around you, and move with the grace and wisdom that lies within you. The night grew quiet as the gazelle's teachings on evasion settled into the hearts of all who had gathered. The forest of shadows, once a place of mystery and challenge, now seemed a realm of endless possibilities, a place where each creature had navigated the dance of existence with agility, awareness, and grace. As the animals dispersed, returning to their places in the forest with a new sense of purpose, the gazelle stood alone under the moonlit sky, her heart full. She had shared the wisdom of evasion, of graceful movement through life's challenges, and in doing so had woven a tapestry of understanding that would guide the forest's inhabitants through the shadows and into the light. As the cloak of night draped over the forest of shadows, the moon, a silent guardian in the sky, cast its silver light upon a serene lake nestled deep within the forest. Here, the water lay still, a mirror to the heavens above, capturing the dance of the fireflies and the glow of the stars in its tranquil embrace. It was to this lakeside sanctuary that the gazelle led the forest's inhabitants, inviting them to a moment of reflection, a pause in the ceaseless dance of life. The animals, their hearts full of the day's lessons, gathered around the lake, their eyes reflecting the calm waters and the wisdom they had garnered. The gazelle stood at the water's edge, her silhouette a graceful statue carved against the backdrop of the night. Then the dance of life, she began, her voice carrying over the water, gentle yet imbued with strength. We find ourselves caught between the beats of speed and the rhythm of stillness. Today, we'll learn the art of evasion, the beauty of agility, and the joy of movement. But equally important is the art of stillness, the grace of beatitude, and the peace that comes from being truly present. The gazelle invited the animals to gaze into the lake, to see not just their reflections, but the depth beneath, a metaphor for the introspection she encouraged. Look beyond the surface, she urged, and find the stillness within yourselves. It is in these moments of quiet, these pauses between our leaps and bounds, that we find clarity and strength. She spoke of the balance between doing and being, between moving through the world with purpose and pausing to savor the journey. Life, she said, is a tapestry of moments, some filled with motion, others with the profound beauty of silence. Embrace both, for they are the threads from which your stories are woven. The gazelle then stepped back from the water's edge, allowing the animals to come forward, to look into the lake and see their reflections staring back at them. One by one, they found their place by the lake. The stillness of the water balmed to their spirits. In the reflection, they saw not just their physical forms, but the essence of their beings, touched by the day's lessons, enriched by the wisdom shared. Let this lake be a reminder, the gazelle continued, her voice now in whisper carried on a breeze, that amidst the constant motion of life, there is always a place of peace, a sanctuary within where you to return for strength and rejuvenation. The balance between speed and stillness is not something to be achieved once, but a harmony to be sought after. Day after day, as the night deepened, the reflection by the lake became a moment of profound connection, not just between the animals and the teachings of the gazelle, but among the creatures themselves. They shared the space in silence, a community bound by the journey of learning, of growing, and of finding peace amidst the whirlwind of existence. But at last the gazelle spoke again. Her words were a gentle farewell, a blessing for the path that lay ahead. Carry with you the lessons of today, she said, and let the memory of this reflection by the lake guide you through the shadows and the light. Remember, the dance of life is yours to choreograph, where each step, each pause, a note in the song of your existence. And with that, the animals departed, the lessons of the day etched in their hearts. The reflection by the lake had offered them a glimpse into their souls, a moment of peace in the endless cycle of motion and stillness. The forest of shadows meant a place of mystery, now held in new meaning, a sanctuary where the dance of life was embraced in all its forms, guided by the grace and wisdom of the gazelle. Chapter 3. The mountain's peak, with the dawn breaking over the horizon, casting a golden glow, heralded the start of a new day. The gazelle set her gaze upon the towering silhouette of the mountain. This majestic peak, shrouded in mists and mystery, marked the next chapter of her journey. It was a path that led not just through the physical realms of the world, but through the inner landscapes of strength and perseverance. As she approached the base of the mountain, a group of eagles descended from the sky, their wings slicing through the air with precision and grace. These were the guardians of the mountain, creatures that had mastered the winds and the heights, their spirits as indomitable as the peak they called home. Greetings, noble gazelle. The Leo of the eagles, a majestic bird with feathers that shimmered like the sunlit snow, addressed her. We have heard of your journey and the wisdom you share. It is our honor to guide you to the mountain's peak, where the sky touches the earth and the horizon unfolds in endless wonder. The gazelle, with a heart buoyed by the welcome and the challenges that lay ahead, nodded in gratitude. I am thankful for your guidance. Together, let us ascend, each step a testament to our determination and the endurance of our spirits. And so they began their ascent. The path was steep, winding through ancient forests that clung to the mountainside, across crystal vast streams that whispered secrets of old, and over rugged terrain that tested their resolve. The gazelle moved with a steady grace, her every step an embodiment of the lessons she had learned and taught, the balance between lightness and strength, agility and endurance. The eagles soared above, their keen eyes watching over the gazelle, ready to offer support. Their presence was a reminder of the freedom found in overcoming obstacles and rising above the confines of the earth to embrace the expanse of the sky. As they climbed higher, the air grew thinner, and the landscape changed, revealing breathtaking vistas of valleys and forests below, a tapestry of life woven in green and gold. The gazelle, pausing to catch her breath, looked out over a world spread beneath her, a sense of awe filling her heart. The beauty of the journey, she realized, was not just in reaching the peak, but in the moments of struggle and triumph that marked the path. The eagles circling above called out to her, their cries echoing against the mountainside, urging her onward. The peak is within reach, they sang, where the earth meets the sky, and the winds tell tales of the ages. Encouraged by their calls, the gazelle pressed on, her steps infused with a renewed sense of purpose. The final ascent was the steepest, a sheer face that demanded everything she had. But she was not alone. The eagles, in a display of solidarity, flew close, their wings beating against the thin air, their spirits united with hers in the final push to the summit. At last, they reached the peak, a place where the world seems to open up in all its glory. The gazelle stood at the top, the eagles perched nearby, a fellowship forged in the journey they had undertaken. Together they looked out at the horizon, where the sun rose in a blaze of glory, casting its light on paths yet to be taken, on journeys yet to be embarked upon. The climb with the eagles was more than a physical ascent. It was a journey of the soul, a testament to the power of determination and endurance. Here at the mountain's peak, the gazelle understood that the greatest heights were reached not by the swiftness of the climb, but by the strength of the heart. The bonds formed along the way, atop the mountain's peak, where the air held the chill of the heavens and the world stretched out in a panorama of endless beauty. The gazelle, surrounded by the eagles and the silent whispers of the wind, prepared to share her third and most thrilling tale. The eagles, their eyes gleaming with anticipation, nestled closer. The bond of their share sent a strong tether between them. This tale, the gazelle began, her voice carrying the weight of memory, is of a time when I found myself on a vast plain, where the horizon kissed the sky in an unbroken line. It was here that I faced one of my greatest challenges, a race against a tempest that arose with the suddenness of a thought. The creatures atop the mountain listened, their breaths held in rapture as the gazelle painted a picture of the landscape, vast and open, into the shadow of gathering clouds. The sky darkened, she continued, as if night had descended in the heart of day. The winds whispered warnings, urging me to flee, to seek shelter against the storm's wrath. But within me stirred a resolve, a determination to not just flee from the storm, but to race it, to pit my speed and endurance against the fury of the elements. The gazelle's tale unfolded, a dramatic recount of her race against the tempest. The thunder roared, a primal challenge, as lightning split the sky, illuminating the plain in flashes of stark white light. And so I ran. With every stride, I pushed the limits of my strength and speed. The storm's breath hot upon my heels. Her audience, the eagles, and the spirits of the mountain, hung on her every word, transported to the vast plain where the gazelle raced the tempest. The rain began to fall, heavy drops that sought to beat me down, to drench my spirit and my resolve. But I ran on, a hearted drumbeat of determination, my legs engines of endurance. The gazelle paused, her gaze distant, as if she still felt the rain, the wind, the electric charge of the storm against her skin. It was in that race, she resumed, that I learned the ultimate lesson of endurance. It is not merely the physical strength to continue, but the inner strength to persevere against all odds, to keep moving forward even when the world itself seems against you. The tale reached its climax as the gazelle described the moment of victory, not over the storm, but alongside it, reaching safety of a sheltering grove as the tempest raged around her. As I stood there, amidst the fury of the storm, I realized that endurance was more than survival. It was about living fully, embracing the challenges of life with courage and resilience. The eagles, moved by the tale, spread their wings as if ready to take flight with the gazelle against the storm once more. The tale of the race with the storm, shared atop the mountain's peak, became a testament to the spirit of endurance that lived within each creature, or a reminder that the greatest challenges often lead to the most profound lessons. As the gazelle concluded her tale, the sun broke through the clouds, casting a golden light that seemed to bless the gathering with warmth and hope. The story of her race against the tempest, of her indomitable spirit, resonated deeply, a beacon of strength and endurance to guide them through the storms of their own lives. In the aftermath of the tale of their race with the storm, the eagles, the feathers ruffled by the wind, their spirits lifted by the gazelle's words, gathered closer. The majesty of the mountain's peak, with its sweeping views of the world below, served as the perfect backdrop for the lesson that was about to unfold. A lesson on and dance. Great Gazelle spoke, the leader of the eagles, his voice echoing the respect and admiration they all felt. Your tale has stirred within us a desire to understand, to embody the endurance you speak of. Teach us, we pray, how we too might hold fast against the tempests of our lives. The gazelle, her eyes reflecting the depth of her experiences, nodded graciously. Endurance, she began, her gaze sweeping over her audience, is often mistaken as a purely physical virtue, the ability to withstand hardship, or to continue despite fatigue. Yet at its core, endurance is a state of mind. It is the fire within that burns steadily, even in the fiercest wind. She laughed slowly around the edge of the peak. To endure is to embrace the challenges that come your way, to face them with courage and determination. It is to find strength not in the absence of fear, in the overcoming of it. The gazelle paused, allowing her words to sink in, to mingle with the thin air atop the mountain, and the vast expanse that stretched out below. Physical strength, she continued, will carry you far, but it is the strength of your spirit, the resilience of your heart, that will see you through the storms. Endurance is about holding on, even when everything within you cries out for release. It is about pushing forward, even when the path ahead seems insurmountable. The eagles, creatures of the sky, who faced the wrath of the elements in their daily flights, listened intently. They understood the physical demands of endurance, of battling against the storm, of soaring to great heights. Yet, Gazelle's words opened a new dimension to their understanding, a realization that the battles they faced were not just against the wind and the rain, but against the doubts and fears that lurked within. Let your heart be your compass, the gazelle advised, her voice carrying the weight of wisdom, dressed in its direction. And let the fire of your spirit be your guide. When the winds howl and the tempest rages, remember that it is not the strength of the storm that defines you, but the strength of your resolve to push through it. The lesson of endurance shared amidst the clouds in the sky became a beacon of hope and strength for the eagles, and for all who heard it. It was a reminder that endurance was not a passive act of suffering, an active engagement with life, a commitment to persevere, to thrive, even in the face of adversity. As the gazelle concluded her lesson, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the sky in shades of purple and gold. The eagles took to the air, their wings spread wide, their hearts filled with the newfound understanding of endurance. And as they soared, they knew that the strength to endure, to rise above the challenges, lay not just in the power of their wings, but in the resilience of their spirits. As the lessons of endurance settled in the hearts of those gathered on the mountain's peak, a new challenge emerged from the shadows of the approaching night. A pack of wolves, sleek and powerful, their eyes gleaming with a mix of curiosity and rivalry, approached the assembly. They had watched from afar, intrigued by the gathering and the tales of strength and wisdom shared by the Gazelle. The leader of the wolves, a formidable creature with a coat as dark as the twilight, stepped forward. "Double Gazelle," he called out, his voice a rumble like distant thunder. "We have heard of your journey, through the lessons you bring. We see in you not just a teacher, but a rival, a test of our own strength and cunning." The Gazelle, understanding the nature of the wolves and the challenge they presented, faced them with a calm that belied the tension of the moment. "I stand before you not as a rival, but as a fellow traveler on life's path," she replied, her voice steady and clear. "If it is a test you seek, but it will not be one of conflict, but of understanding. True strength lies not in domination, but in the ability to endure, to adapt, and to outlast." The wolves, intrigued by her response, agreed to a demonstration, a test of speed and strategy. The mountain slopes with their rugged terrain and hidden crevices would serve as the stage for this confrontation. A challenge that would require more than mere physical prowess. As the moon rose high in the sky, casting its silver light upon the mountain, the Gazelle and the wolves began their contest. It was not a chase boon of predator and prey, but a dance of equals, each movement a testament to their respective strengths. The Gazelle moved with grace and precision, her every leap a display of her agility and her deep understanding of the terrain. The wolves, for their part, showed their unformed strength, their movements coordinated and cunning, a demonstration of their pack's unity and strategic thinking. They worked together, attempting to outmaneuver the Gazelle, to predict her paths and corner her with their collective might. Yet as the contest unfolded, it became clear that the Gazelle's strength lay not just in her speed, but in her endurance, in her ability to keep moving, to adapt her strategy on the fly, and to outlast her challengers. She led the wolves on a chase that tested their limits, weaving through the mountain's challenges with a resilience that spoke volumes of her lessons on endurance. In the end, as the first light of dawn began to touch the horizon, the Gazelle stood once more on the mountain's peak. The wolves gathered around her, their breaths heavy with exhaustion, but their eyes alight with a newfound respect. "You have shown us," the wolf leader admitted, his tone one of grudging admiration, "that true strength is not just the force of the attack, but the will to continue, the endurance to face adversity and emerge unbroken. We were not our rival, but our teacher." The confrontation with the wolves had become a lesson in itself, a demonstration that strength was not merely a physical attribute, but a mental and spiritual endurance. There was a testament to the Gazelle's wisdom that true victory lay not in defeating one's adversaries, but in transcending the very notion of conflict, through the power of endurance and the grace of understanding. As the sun rose, casting its golden light over the mountain, the Gazelle and the wolves parted ways, each carrying with them the lessons of the night. The confrontation had not only tested their strengths, but enwoven a bond of respect and understanding among them, a reminder that the greatest challenges often lead to the most profound growth. As the sun claimed its throne in the sky, bathing the mountain's peak in a radiant light, the Gazelle stood before the gathered creatures, a diverse assembly brought together by tales, challenges, and a quest for wisdom. The air was crisp, filled with the promise of new beginnings, as the Gazelle prepared to share her final lesson. a culmination of any journey's teachings. Friends, she began, her voice carrying the warmth of the sun and the depth of the journeys traversed. We have climbed mountains, raced with storms, and known the delicate dance of evasion. At the heart of all these lessons lies a singular truth. Movement is an art form. It is the poetry of the body, a melody composed of grace, agility, and endurance. The animals listened, captivated by her words, as the gazelle continued. Each of you possesses a unique rhythm, a personal harmony that guides your movement through life. To move with purpose is to understand this rhythm, to embrace it fully and express it in every step, every leap, and every flight. She moved among them as she spoke, her own movements a testament to the lessons she imparted. With grace, she demonstrated the fluidity of motion. It comes from a deep understanding of one's own capabilities and limitations. With agility, she navigated the uneven terrain of the peak, each step precise and intentional. And with endurance, she embodied the resilience required to journey through life's varied landscapes. To find your rhythm, the gazelle advised is to listen to the beat of your own heart, to feel the pulse of the earth beneath your feet, and to align yourself with the natural flow of the world around you. It is to move not just with physical intent, but with emotional and spiritual purpose, connecting each motion to the deeper currents of your being. The gazelle paused, allowing her words to resonate, to seep into the hearts and minds of her audience. As our paths diverge and you return to the forests, the meadows, and the skies from whence you came, carry with you the wisdom of movement. Let it guide you through the challenges, inspire you in moments of doubt, and fill your journey with beauty and grace. The creatures of the mountain, the eagles, the wolves, and all who gathered, looked upon the gazelle with a newfound understanding. In her final lesson, they found a universal truth, a shared melody to which all life danced. They understood that to move with purpose was to live fully, to embrace each moment with intention, and to weave the tapestry of their lives with the threads of grace, agility, and endurance. As the gazelle concluded her wisdom on movement, the mountain's peak became a place of silent reflection, a sacred space where each creature pondered their own rhythm, their unique contribution to the world's endless dance. And when they finally descended from the peak, it was with a sense of purpose, a commitment to move through life with the artistry and wisdom the gazelle had shared. The journey on the mountain's peak may have reached its end, but the lessons learned, the wisdom imparted, would ripple through time, inspiring generations to find their rhythm and to move through the world with grace. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, a profound silence enveloped the mountain's peak. It was a moment of transition of endings and beginnings, as the gazelle prepared to depart from the assembly of creatures that had gathered to share in the wisdom of her journey. The air was thick with anticipation and the bittersweet tongue of farewell. The animals, from the mighty eagles to the steadfast wolves, and all the myriad creatures of the forest and meadow, gathered around the gazelle, their eyes shining with gratitude and the reflection of the dawn. They had come, not just to bid her farewell, but to pay homage to the lessons she had imparted. Lessons that had transformed their understanding of movement, of life, and of themselves. The gazelle, a posture embodying the grace and elegance that had been the hallmark of her teachings, hooked upon her companions with a gentle gaze. "My friends," she began, her voice a soft melody that seemed to harmonize with the breaking dawn. "Our time together has been a journey of discovery, a dance of learning and growth. As all journeys must, ours too comes to an end." A hush fell over the assembly, a collective breath held in reverence for the words to come. "As I leave you," the gazelle continued, "I leave you with a final message to embrace the beauty of your own movements. Let each step you take be a testament to the grace and elegance within you. Live each day with purpose, with joy, and with an awareness of the artistry of your existence." The gazelle's eyes swept over the gathered animals, each creature reflecting on the lessons learned. on the moments of challenge and triumph that had marked their time together. "Remember," she said, "grace is not the purview of the few, but the gift of all. It resides in the heart of every creature, in the soul of every being. It is the light that guides us through the shadows, the melody that sings us home." As the sun rose higher, casting its golden light over the peak, Gazelle turned, her form silhouetted against the dawn, a symbol of the journey that lay ahead, of the paths yet to be traveled. One by one, the animals stepped forward, offering their farewells, their voices a chorus of gratitude and hope. And then, with a final glance back at the friends she had made, at the lives she had touched, the Gazelle began her descent from the mountain's peak. Her steps were light, her heart full, her spirit buoyed by the knowledge that the lessons shared would continue to ripple through the lives of those she had left behind. The farewell at dawn was not just a goodbye, but a benediction, a blessing for the journey that each creature would undertake. As the Gazelle disappeared from view, the animals remained, basking in the light of the new day, their spirits lifted by the wisdom they had received. The lessons of grace, agility, and endurance would be their legacy, a gift passed down through generations, a reminder of the Gazelle who had danced upon the mountain's peak and taught them to embrace the beauty of their own moments, to meet the midst. As they dispersed, returning to the forests, the meadows, and the skies, they carried with them the essence of the Gazelle, a melody of movement that would echo through the ages.